The future of advertisement agencies. That's the subject that we just heard from PJ. How are you?
Very good.
I'm Ivan, and thank you so much for joining us here. Why don't you tell our audience what was the essence of your topic?
I think it's, if you think of when people think about the future, they always look for an answer, and I think that the future does not live in an answer. The future lives in the question. I think if we to start to understand what's coming next, the best way to do it is ask yourself and ask your environment. You know, if we're inventing what we do today, how would we do it? Mm-hmm. And if we ask that every single day for every assignment, everything that we have in our hands, we're going to start to find the answers of what the future is going to be like for each one of our clients, each one of our agencies. And we're going to understand the power of diversity. We're going to understand the power of culturally influential work. We're going to understand the power of technology, but all for the good reasons, not because we're trying to guess what the future is, but because we're inventing it today. Future always comes from invention, and invention happens in the present.
So as you envision that, because you're keeping track of these developments, what does that look like 10 years down the road?
I think that the most important the most important thing is diversity on the teams, and diversity on the kinds of agencies, and the models, and the radical models, and the mixed models that combine different ideas from everyone, because evolution comes from mutations and from breeding, from crossbreeding. It comes, the future is mutt, never a purebred individual, right? So I think that this is where the future is the way to build the future and what the future is like. But I think it's also the comprehension that brands can no longer guarantee they're going to buy time in front of consumers. They're going to do their best, but consumers are making their own decision on where they're spending their time. So the only way to really speak to them is to be as respectful of their time as we are respectful of the money that the brands are inspiring, that are investing. Unless we are committed the same way to both, there's no business.
And I have a question that I don't know if you have reflected on, but does AI going to impact advertisement and this industry?
For sure. I mean, there's nothing that AI is not going to influence in our lives, and it influences our everything in the media landscape already. When you're trying to navigate online, and everything that is happening on anything electronic has a lot of AI components are making your life easier. You appreciate it, you just don't realize that it's AI. AI is pretty transparent in most of the cases, and in our business is going to do a lot. And I can't, my bet thinking about it is that what's going to happen in advertising is what happened with lots of other industries like fashion and food, that if you look at every industry, there's usually like a very high end, a very low end, and the middle of the road, and money has always been in the middle of the road. But as different technologies start to give scale to the high end and start to make it more, give quality to the low end, the middle of the road stop needing to exist. So as AI gets more applied to what we do in marketing, there's going to be less and less need for the middle of the road, like the typical commercial that runs every day the same for brands, and we're going to do more automatic things that machines can do for themselves, and more wonderful things that only human beings can create. But those everyday things that actually represent the majority of the money that the agencies make, and the majority of the money that clients spend, this is probably going to disappear. It won't make sense in very little time.
Well, that is a good warning then to be thinking about, and just a glimpse of the caliber of exposition that you received here at the conference. Is this your first time here?
My first time. It's
And
wonderful.
What was your impression?
It's really exciting. Wonderful speakers. The crowd is very receptive. Very inspiring group of people.
Well, thank you for coming and thank you for sharing
My
a little
pleasure.
bit with those that are watching online.